I had a dream about what's going on in Florida over a month ago. Before I tell you that dream, make sure you take a minute of today and just pray for Florida and pray for the people living there. I was looking at all the videos and I was hearing everybody's thoughts, and even non-Christians are saying things like, something feels off, something doesn't feel normal, this doesn't feel like our usual storms that we have gone through in Florida. This feels very different, something feels off. And as a Christian, my discernment's been like spider senses, bro, because I feel like something's ready to just pop. Like, it feels like birthing pains, like when a woman is in labor or something. Like, it feels like what's going on, like it's back-to-back stuff. And so I'm just there, like, and having to remind myself and reminder to you as well that God, he has everything under control. Don't give in to fear. Don't give in to anxiety. Don't give in to thoughts of just death. Think life. Think God is in control. Have peace in knowing that you are in God's hands and you're good. So for just integrity purposes, I want to show you guys the date and when I wrote this. I woke up from my dream September 3rd and I wrote down what I saw. I was walking out into a backyard of a huge mansion in Miami. As I walked out, it was like a pool party, a huge pool party, and I saw a lot of sexual immorality there. The first scene that I saw was a girl in a bikini by a palm tree, and a man approached her. As the man walked towards her, she had her back face towards him while looking back at him, so like this. She was looking back at him like that, like she was looking back at it, you know what I'm saying? The man approaching her asks her, "What's the name of your spirit?" It's like he was pressing her, you know, like when a gang member like, "Yo, what block you from? Whatever, what gang you repping, what set you in?" He was like, "What's the name of your spirit?" And she responded with a name of a spirit that starts with a S. I couldn't really hear the name, but immediately once I seen that interaction and heard what I heard, I knew that these people were in witchcraft, that these people were in specifically Santeria, and they were like vetting each other, figure out who y'all belong to, what team you were, what Orisha, what this. I knew it. Once the man received that name, he proceeded to have relations with her. I was then moved and continued walking. It was like I was being given a tour of what goes on in these places. I was like a witness being shown what was happening. I was not involved. No one touched me. I saw men approaching women and asking them these same questions before proceeding to do what they did. I then found myself inside the pool. The pool was huge, humongous. All around me, as I looked around, were people engaging in sexual behavior. The ratio between men and women was so uneven. Like for every 10 men, there was like one woman. When I looked this way, a couple of feet away from me, I saw about 10 men fighting over one woman, and they all looked like a ball of flesh on top of her. And I could only see like half of her body. On the other side, I saw a girl being pulled by 5 or 6 men who wanted Haktua from her. At this point now, I felt like something had bit the left side, like right here on my torso. I looked around and it began to just rain, like it was like a storm just out of nowhere. When I checked my torso, there was a leech on my side. I began to pull it off, and then there was another one and I pulled it off, and I looked around and there was this storm and it was raining leeches as well. I was looking around and people were so into their sin that they couldn't feel it or see what was going on. As they fell from the sky and it rained and it just got weird and storm and all these things, I kept just, whatever landed on me, I took it off and I began to shout warnings at them and tell them what was going on because they couldn't feel it. They couldn't see it. It was like they were so just like blind or something. I'm like, bro, do you not? Yeah, there's a storm. It's raining leeches. Like, y'all don't see it? I'm trying to warn them. And they didn't listen at first. I told them they needed to run. They wouldn't listen. I told them they needed to stop it. They wouldn't listen. As I got out of that pool, I warned them again. This is when finally, one by one, they all started realizing it, and it was like a panic. They just started like, ah. The girls began to scream. The men were running around. I followed the owner of the home back inside, and I removed the leeches off of him. And I told him to remove any that were on my back because I couldn't reach it. He took off anything that I had on me, and we went inside. The man who owned the house was a rich billionaire, and he looked just like Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary. Then he led me to an area in the house where there was this glass area that disinfected you. If you ever seen those like futuristic movies or whatever, when they put you in like this capsule and this like mist comes down that like disinfects you, and then boom, you could go into the next place now. That's how it was. And now we were like in like this bunker place, and it was just me and him. Everybody else stayed like stuck. As I was in the bunker, I saw a TV on the screen, and on the TV was the news. And the news was saying that Florida was going through a plague. In the back of the news anchor, I saw like the storm and everything, and people running and people panicking. And specifically, I was in Miami in the dream, and the person announced that Miami people should just stay home. This dream literally blew my mind. From everything I witnessed, from everything that happened to the storm, to going in and seeing and hearing what I saw on the TV in the dream and waking up, I forgot all about this dream. Now, over a month later, I'm scrolling through social media and I'm seeing all the videos of everything that's happening and people evacuating. And look, it just looks so crazy. I'm like, God. And immediately the Holy Spirit brings that dream back to my remembrance. Y'all could correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I'm reading, it's a Category 5 hurricane, and it's already top 4 strongest hurricane in American history. 3 hurricanes moving around the same time in the Atlantic Ocean, which never has happened in history. This is what I'm reading, and a lot of people saying they feel weird. A lot of people saying their cars are not working, they're turning off, like it's weird.
All right, so giving you guys an update on me. Like, I'm not even playing with you. So literally out of nowhere, why my car just wouldn't cut on. And something told me not to take the trash out last night. I'm glad that I didn't. My car isn't the only one doing this. They said roadside assistance is going off the hook right now because a lot of people cars is breaking down right now. The insurance companies is blowing up and going crazy. Something is happening. And I asked her, I said, wait, is it because of the storm? She said, yes. Something about the storm is causing cars to break down.
Car batteries randomly just dying. A lot of people are having thoughts and ideas that this might be somehow orchestrated, somehow man-made storm. I've been knowing about HAARP and all that for a while, so I don't put it past it. The way FEMA's acting with people in North Carolina is really weird, really strange. People still picking up the pieces from that storm, and now there's another one, and FEMA accidentally says this.
We plan to execute between 70 and 80,000. We plan to evacuate between 70 and 80,000 people.
I don't know, y'all. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Could it be a slip up? Sure, but your boy said execution. They got all this money for Ukraine, all this money for the illegal immigrants coming through, all this money for everything else, but they don't got money for NC or anybody else.
Republicans are claiming that money set aside by Congress for disaster relief is instead going to migrants. But the White House and FEMA saying that is just not true.
I mean, it's just categorically false. It is not true. It is a false statement.
FEMA says that is not happening.
The White House pushing back against those allegations, releasing a statement that says this, quote,
funding is also available through FEMA's emergency food and shelter program to support humanitarian relief for migrants.
Also under the shelter and services program, we are very focused on getting the dollars out the door as quickly as possible.
So now the White House says that for those cities that they know are receiving an influx of migrants, there is somebody from FEMA, that federal emergency management agency, ready and willing to really help those cities when it comes to management of these influx of migrants, including reimbursing some of those cities.
The federal government is sending money to cities and states caring for migrants. $1.1 million, $30 million, $8.6 million, $128 million.
Could this be a plague? Could this be a punishment in America? Could this be some kind of result because of all the witchcraft and rebellion in this country? It could be. Could it also be man-made and some type of weird conspiracies behind it? It could be. Could there be people trying to plan how to benefit and how to politically whatever and how to financially benefit off of this, of, you know, people of power? It could be. All I know is in the storm that I saw, there was leeches. And leeches, you know, they suck blood, and blood equals life. It could be that a lot of lives are going to be lost. It could be that there's leeches behind this. You know, people who have that spirit of like a leech, and they want to suck the nutrients and the wealth and the benefits of a place. Kind of like when Hawaii went through what they went through, you know, it kind of seemed like some people benefited from that. You know, even in North Carolina, they were saying something about benefiting from lithium mines. I don't know the full truth. We could speculate, we could have thoughts, we could have an idea, we could have discourse, we could figure out what's going on. But all I know one thing, and that's I could trust God. Damage-wise and everything, I actually think this is going to be really bad. Shout outs to Jenny Weaver, who opened up the core building to allow people to refuge there and everything. And I just feel like in my spirit, in my heart, like I heard this. If any Christian can, open up your door. You know what I'm saying? Help each other, have the heart of Christ, use wisdom, but whatever open up a door means to you, that's what I heard in the spirit. Let's just be there for each other right now.